Welcome to the Office Latte Podcast, where we go beyond the boardroom to explore new conversations on life and career. I'm Erin Kennedy, CEO of Professional Resume Services and wife, mother, sister, daughter, aunt, and friend. Now, let's dive in. Summer!
Hello, Erin. How's it going?
Fabulous. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, having a nice week. And yeah, this overall month has just been good. How's your month been going?
It's been great. It's been a really good month.
That's
This is so
awesome.
formal. Don't we sound formal? Like, how's your month? How's the weather? How's your day? How'd you sleep? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
8 hours.
Oh, girl, you have to tell me how you do that.
No, I actually didn't. I didn't. It's
Okay,
8 hours, I wish.
5 to 6 hours is like all I can do. And my kids are always like,
Wow.
Mom, my kids, Gen X or Gen Z, they're all like, Mom, you should be sleeping at least 8 to 10 hours. I'm like, okay, number one, who has that kind of time? And number two, I just can't. My body like wakes me up and I try to go to bed. So if I go to bed earlier, then I just wake up earlier. So
Yeah. Have you, speaking of Gen Z, I've been seeing this around. Have you heard about the Gen Z stare?
No.
Okay, let me explain.
No, I'm staring.
Have you heard about the millennial pause?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the millennial pause is like we do it before we like start camera or whatever, and everyone kind of does that. Anyone who was like
I don't
grow
anymore.
up with a
Ever
phone in
since
their
I started
face.
doing TikTok,
Yeah.
you told me about that, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's true. You wait until it's going, and then you're like, hi.
Yeah, 'cause we're-
instead of just diving right in. Yeah.
Yep, because like anyone above, like millennials and above, like we're used to seeing the camcorder and we wait for the red. So like there's that pause. Right. But okay. So the Gen Z stare, it took me a while to really figure out what they were talking about, but then I started experiencing it. It's when Gen Z, like, they just do this blank stare. It's just part of like, I don't know if it was the pandemic of their like social I don't know, like they just kind of stare blankly. I'll give you some examples.
Give me an example. Show me.
Okay, I was at the airport recently and I went and grabbed like a Diet Coke and some Cheez-Its from like a little, like one of those thingies, like a NBC or whatever.
Snack. Yeah.
Exactly. And I like go up to the counter and I like set it down and she like clicks 2 things and then just goes, and I was like,
Were you like,
do you want me to pay? Like I was like,
what?
And I just like, and then she stared at me and then looked down at her phone and then just stared off in space. And I said, do I pay, what's my total? And she goes, yeah, hit the thing. And like, I was like, oh, okay, sorry. So I hit it. And then like, I grabbed my snacks, put my card back in my purse and then like looked at her. And at this point, she's fully staring off in space. And I was like, am I all set?
Hello?
Like, yeah, like I didn't need my receipt, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I get like, we're quick, it's just a day. But like, I was just like, okay. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. Or like another great example, a lot of people say this.
It sounds like total rudeness.
Is like, I think they think about it like just swipe. What do you think? Like, you know what I mean? Which like, okay. And then I'll give you an example that I heard someone say that's like from their perspective. Okay. So another one was like a hostess. Like you get to a restaurant, you walk up, and they're just, and you're like, it's literally your job to greet me, and then you're kind of like, hi, table of 4, like like, and so it's just that like stare, and then they're like, oh yeah, you need 4, like it's just like this delayed, not even greeting, and I think from their perspective, which I can empathize with this like a little bit. They're like wanting to do less small talk, but it's like you kind of have to meet us halfway, because I think like someone was like my Gen Z stare was at like 7:30. This man walked into like my shop or whatever, or like came into, I don't know, like McDonald's or gas station or whatever she was working, and bought like a coffee for $1.50 and handed me $100 bill. Wow. And she was like, and yeah, like, I can think of an eye roll and being like, yeah. But like, yeah, to just be like, like I get that sentiment, but I'm like, you can't say that when you're a hostess and your entire job is to greet people walking up to you.
To greet and talk and make small talk.
You'll start to notice it. Like I have noticed it in so many stores now.
I have not encountered that.
I
like, no, I don't know. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
I would probably say something. I have two Gen Zers, and I will say there, in fact, one, anyways, he's going to an interview right now, but so I was thinking, but my point is that they're both very good conversationalists. Like
They are. They're very socialized.
Yeah.
I think it's just like
like dogs. They're socialized.
No, I know, like literally though. That's how like I feel like we have to talk. I think though, like I realized it like retroactively when I started thinking back to like just like going to the mall or like little things where like I'm around more like teenagers or young adults.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just assumed they were all shy or not that social.
So it's a thing. It's just
so I just was like, oh, maybe it's just all, but like we shouldn't group them all together. But
right. Because as you were saying that, I was thinking about my kids and their friends, and maybe it's just I always think our kids are chatty, but my husband and I are chatty, so I'm probably more chatty than him, but still, and so the kids are chatty and their friends, except with the exception of a couple, they're pretty talkative, but. No, I have not experienced the Gen Z stare. Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna
keep it in. Keep it. Think about it, and you'll start to see it.
Gen Z stare, and then I'm just gonna be like,
oh, they'll be so mad.
I'll say because my
just
millennial
call someone out directly.
My millennial podcast producer told me about you. No.
That's funny.
All right, so we are totally off topic.
I know. It's like.
I know this does not segue into anything at all, but
well, maybe like the ability to be socialized. That's really her message.
No, it's not.
I feel like her LinkedIn post.
Let me tell you something that stop me in my tracks. I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, commenting, scrolling past, and something stopped me in my tracks. I read this. I'm going to read it to you, okay? I spent 10 years sleeping next to someone who rolled his eyes when I cried. But I could walk into a salary negotiation and ask for $15K more without blinking. I was just like, what? I know. And
great hook.
Anyways, such a hook. And then she goes on to say, when my ex dismissed my feelings about his parents moving in without asking me, I bought myself a chair and sat in the corner so I wouldn't disturb them watching TV. But yet when my boss asked me to give I know, but yet when my boss tried to give me a 3% raise instead of 15%, that I deserved, I presented a spreadsheet of my contributions and I walked out with 12%. Same brain, same week. And completely different responses to being undervalued. And I was like, okay, I have to talk to her because I mean, I have felt that way so many times in my life, not with my husband, because, he's awesome, but just with different things, just like, where 100%. I feel like I can rock something or, whatever, but in other areas I'm more like passive or whatever,
100%. I feel like there are so many times where I'm like, why can I walk into this room so confident and I walk into that room a shell of my personality?
Right.
Why? Isn't that funny how we show up and how we like believe we're being judged, or like I think too so many people are like, I've healed, and they are like, and I have done that to myself before where I'm like, oh, I really learned that lesson, or I really felt like I know how to work through that now, or I feel confident in work. But then like a year later, like you'll have a situation that's very similar, but say with a friend, and then you're like, oh, I'm I have to think about it differently. And I think that's like what her post, why it resonated with so many people, because we all feel that way.
Oh yeah, it went viral. So, I mean, as viral as it can go on LinkedIn, but it, certainly gained a lot of interest. And I mean, yeah, it's definitely garnered a following. But anyways, but I think because so many people resonate with this, it's like, and I hear this a lot from women, especially women execs who every once in a while they're vulnerable with me, or they'll say, I'm a rock star at work, but at home, I just had to finally leave my husband because he walked all over me, or stuff like that, and anyways, so Natalie Fisher is her name, and she teaches you how to value yourself, value what you do, show you what you're worth in a very, in a very strategic way. Let's get down to the numbers. Let's show you what you've done. So I love
Yeah.
that because it's not just like, positive affirmations or things like that. It's very
Yeah.
much strategic and data driven. Data, your own data. So yeah, anyways, I'm excited to dive into this with her and hear her story and just see how she does it with people, how she gets them to see their value.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's very beautiful what she does. I'm
I
really excited
know,
to
I
hear
know, I
about
know,
it.
I know. So let me go over her bio with you because it's impressive. So Natalie Fisher has been coaching people for 11 years to strengthen their minds, to create the results that they want in their career. She helps them overcome the toughest obstacles and move through their brain's resistance to produce the results that they want in their careers, whether that be a higher salary, a better quality of environment, or to be able to speak up and make themselves visible and heard. And listeners, I hope you love this as much as we do. Yeah, enjoy. Hello, Natalie Fisher. I am so excited you're here. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
So I met you, well, I first learned about you on LinkedIn, and I think we were following each other. I think we were already connected, but then you posted something that went viral, which we are going to get into. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate. I think I think every human on the planet, not just women, but I think everybody can relate to some of these feelings in one way or another. But before we get into that, um, I wanted to talk about, kind of do a little background, a little bio. Summer and I did a little bio about you, before we started. But so how did you get to where you are right now? Because I know, like I said in the intro, you coach people to really strengthen their mind and help them get the results that they want. So what brought you here? How did you get here? I know I'll just do this little tidbit. You said you dropped out of college and landed a job directly from someone that you helped out in class. So tell me more about that.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first shift in belief that helped me to see like what was actually important in landing a job right out of college. And I had kind of the choice to go to school or get a job at that point where you have to move out or you have to do something because you're done with school. And
Yeah.
so I had
Your
this
parents are
choice.
like, should have got off the pot. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just go to school because that's what I know. And at the time, I had these part-time jobs and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to support myself, so I'll go to school. My dad had made that an easy option for me, so I did that. And then in school, I kind of ended up being the answer person because I was a good student and would help people out. And I helped this one gentleman, I guess I would call him. He was younger. We were young at the time, but
Yeah.
and in the end, he ended up coming back to me 2 weeks later after I'd helped him and said, hey, there's a job opening at my company. Do you want to interview for it? And at that time, I was like, sure, that sounds great. And I was intrigued by like what this could be. It turned out to be an account manager role at a company called Abe Books. And I ended up getting that role just through the referral. And
Wow.
how
See?
he had kind of
People
helped me out a little
listening,
bit with the
anybody
questions.
listening, yeah. Remember, you can get the job through who you know. I always tell people that. That's how you're going to get the next job. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's through a conversation, through something really
Right.
simple, through like helping somebody out, through like you don't even know what's going to happen from all the conversations that you have. Like this conversation that we're having right now, who knows
You just
like who's
never
going to
know.
hear it or
Exactly.
who I can connect you with later, or who you can connect me with later. Like it's all about the conversations and the connections. So
Yes.
that's kind of what set my belief up at a very young age to see,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's what actually worked. It wasn't actually finishing school and getting all the boxes checked and
Right.
then going to do the thing after. So I ended up just quitting school because I had this job that was paying me more than anyone in college had hoped to get a job at the time. Like it
Right.
was really good. And so I was like, well, I don't need this school anymore. Like the whole point of coming here was to get this and I've already got this. So I'm not going to continue because I didn't really love school. It was just kind of like a comfort zone thing
Mm-hmm.
for me because I knew what to expect. So yeah, that and then getting jobs throughout my career that way. And then having people ask me like, oh, how did you do that? Or, I got laid off several times and then being able to recover pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then the combination of falling in love with coaching and actually loving becoming a coach and being
Right.
good at something kind of made my
Yeah.
niche very clear.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the short version of it.
Good. All right. All right. So, and you became very good at advocating for yourself
Yeah.
professionally. But you said personally, well, you said it came very naturally to you, but it wasn't until later that you discovered that this didn't mirror itself in your personal life.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what the post was
Yeah.
about.
So tell us about that, about the post that went viral.
Yeah, so the post that went viral was about me. Like, the opening hook was, I spent 10 years sleeping next to someone who rolled their eyes when I cried, but I could walk into my boss's office and negotiate a 15K raise with no issues. And that was definitely how my life went. It was like, personally, I grew up with one kind of messaging and conditioning, and then professionally another. And I can
Right.
totally put it together now and see exactly where these messages came from. All from my dad, highly influential person in my life. I really valued his opinion and kind of just took on what he said without
Yeah.
really consciously knowing it. And then
Yeah.
that's what I ended up living out. So
Right.
went on this discovery journey of like, why did I end up in this relationship for 10 years and put up with all that when professionally I
Right.
was, kicking ass.
Rocking it. Right. And so how did you, and that's the thing I think resonated with me and so many other people is that professionally we might be one way, but personally we're totally different. I mean, I know you were talking about your husband and these different things and just it's just how different we can be, at home versus
Yeah,
professionally.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of the comments I got from a lot of people were like, I love this because it's illustrating that how you are one way is not how you are another way, or how you do one thing is not how you do everything. And it kind of was debunking that statement that we kind of all have taken on to be truth. And I was like, I never really believed that statement. I always did see that instinctually or just subconsciously, I was just responding one way in my professional life and responding another way in my personal life. And I could see like, started questioning it when I started to become more self-aware, but for a long time that was just my automatic behavior. So I think a lot of people
Right.
resonated with
And
that.
is it more like a pleaser, like I'm a more of a people pleaser type at home or something? I don't know.
Yeah. It was just very much like, oh yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Like, I just want to make you happy. I just want to be a good good wife or good partner. And then at
Right.
work it was like, well, no, I'm actually not sure if that's going to work. And like, just very much boss lady energy at work. And then at home it was like, I'm sorry. Please look
I
again.
know. Isn't that crazy? I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm probably more bossy at home than at work.
Yeah, and
But
that's the thing. Like, people resonated with it in different ways because they were like, "Oh yeah, for me it's the opposite. Like, I've like had a great relationship, and then at work I'm like I can't speak up, right?"
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just crazy how, yeah, we can be one way, one place, and another way, another place. And that is what I think resonated with so many people. I'll just kind of quickly read this and then we'll go into something else. But you said, I spent 10 years sleeping next to someone who rolled his eyes when I cried, but I could walk into a salary negotiation and ask for 15K more without blinking. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, okay. So then you realize this and you realize, that there was this difference and that, yeah. So was it during this time, were you already career coaching at this time or,
No, I
what?
had actually
Yeah.
started that way later after I'd been laid off a
Okay.
couple of times, and I was starting to see how that process worked for me and for other people. And through that, it was kind of through that, and I was in that relationship the whole time, so I'd already kind of established my business when I left
Okay.
that relationship. And then after I left the relationship, it took off, and I just felt like free, like, oh, I'm unstoppable now, like, because I realized
That
how that
world.
relationship was holding me
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. 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 So, Yeah, I was going to say, tell us, because I know that you describe yourself as the career coach I needed when I was unexpectedly laid off. I love that. So
Yeah.
tell me more about that turning point, and how it kind of shaped your mission.
Yeah. So it was a moment of like real observation for me when I got laid off, it was like we were brought into this room, and like the first time I was laid off, because I was laid off several times, I'm sure we can all relate to being laid off now. But I was brought
Right?
into the
Yeah.
room as like a normal all hands meeting weekly event, and like everybody was just going to come, and it was just our normal thing. But there was something different about it this time. There were these strange people that we didn't know in the room,
Oh,
and the vibe was a bit weird, and we were like, okay, what's going on here? So when the CEO came up, he announced, we're closing down operations of the company, and this nice woman's going to tell you what's going to happen next, and and then he like left. And then they
great.
made the announcement. They started talking about the severance packages and all that. I just saw everyone's reaction in the room, and like all these people that I knew, and there were like 78 of us. And so the whole experience was very emotional for everybody. And I was just sitting there kind of calmly, and I was like, I think it's going to be okay. That was my first thought. I was like, I think it's gonna be okay. And
Right.
like you could see lots of people different reactions, like angry and like crying
Yeah,
and like all
sure.
these really high emotions. And I was just kind of sitting there calmly, and I thought, you know what? It's probably for the best, because it was kind of the end days were kind of a little bit weird anyway. Like we weren't really
Yeah.
working. We didn't really have
Right.
clear instructions. Like we kind of could feel something was
Could
up,
see
although
the
we
writing
couldn't
on the
quite
wall. You knew
see
something
it.
was up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was from that, to answer your question, it was from that experience that I kind of saw that people really needed help with this, like emotionally managing their mind, being able to have the right thoughts, and being able to keep themselves, committed to that next
Right.
thing without settling. Like I saw a lot of really smart people, like just settling for the first thing they could get when they could have definitely done a lot better. And
Right.
they just didn't know, because we had been given this opportunity to have this outplacement service kind of give us some career tips.
Okay.
And that kind of, the career tips they gave us were really not very helpful, like not to me at least. Like they were demotivating. They were like, oh well, don't get used to that, you were making a lot of money, the salaries there were inflated, like you
Great.
get used to the fact that you might have to take a pay cut, and like just the narrative. And so something inside me was just like, no, like I don't
Right. This
like
is
that.
not what
That
I
doesn't
needed to
sit right
hear.
with
Yeah.
me. And so I went out and kind of proved that wrong, after almost getting into an argument with that woman who was leading those sessions. And that's when I kind of had the click of like, no, like people need to hear a different perspective on this.
Right.
And even back then, because that was in 2014, and that was like I kept moving forward through there. I got three competing job offers, and I had some
Yeah.
bad fit experiences too, that I left and
Yeah.
then found something else. I was like, people just need a different perspective, because if this is what they're getting, then this is not really fair to their potential.
Exactly. Exactly. So after you, well, let me shift it a little bit. So your posts really focus on professional versus personal boundaries. I mean, how do you coach clients to bring workplace confidence into their personal lives? You know?
Yeah, so I think it kind of goes across the board. I like, one of my main business values is that, are you honoring yourself and your own opinion and what you think? Like, are you even asking, like interacting with yourself in a way where you're really checking in with yourself and seeing,
Yeah.
is that important? Like, because like I coached one client recently, and she had done something for her boss, and then she went to her boss, and her boss was like, what is this? Like, this is not at all what we discussed, right? And she immediately went into like people pleasing mode, and she's like, when we
Right.
debriefed what happened, she was like, I just apologized, and I said, I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood, I didn't know like
Right.
what you
It
were
was me.
saying.
It was me, not you. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly, it was me, not you. Just that assumption was, it was me, not you. And so then when I asked her a few questions, I was like, well, what did she ask you? Do you remember what the exact words were? Do you remember what the instruction was? And then when she looked at all that, she's like, yeah, I actually did exactly what I was supposed to do. And then
Right.
but in that moment, she wasn't able to like have that wisdom. She just immediately instinctually
Yeah.
went into the whole oh, I'm so sorry, I must have done something wrong, I must have misunderstood, instead of, which what I
Yeah.
coached her to was be like, why did you say this to me when you originally gave me the instructions? If you didn't want this, why did you say that? That's what I heard. Maybe we had a misunderstanding, but I just want to clarify so it doesn't happen again. So kind of, and it's like that was a professional example, and like it can go either way, but it's more like if you're used to checking in with yourself first and you're used to having your own back and being like, okay, like, what do I think about that? Is that my true opinion? Before you can get shut down by the other person's energy,
Right.
then your response will be more congruent with advocating for yourself just automatically.
And I mean, I'm listening and I'm thinking, gosh, I've been there. Like, I think I have some people pleasing tendencies, which I have tried to tamper through the years. I'm like, Erin, as you get older, you're supposed to like not be so much, because I was thinking, oh, I could see myself being like, oh, yeah, no, you're right, or whatever. But so how do you, and this is after she talked with you, she knew what she was supposed to do, but she froze in the moment, right? She
Yeah, yeah,
froze.
yeah,
She went back to her normal ways. So
yeah.
how do people, is it just practice? I mean, how do
I think
people
it's the
get past that?
self-awareness. And through that experience, she learned, she took a bunch of wisdom, right? Because she kind of had an aha moment where she was like, oh, you're right. I didn't
Right.
actually do anything wrong. And I was acting like I did, right?
Right.
And so, and then I think that the thought after that is like, well, I don't want to jump and be defensive about it, and I don't want to cause a problem.
Right.
So I think that it's a combination of step one, self-awareness, right? Just like pause and have that awareness and be
Yes.
like, okay, did I do, like, what is my actual opinion of this? Did I do something wrong? Because if you did and you do think that, it's fine to say that, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, well, actually, I understood it this way. So step one is having that self-awareness and checking in with yourself.
Yes.
And then step two is being able to just ask questions neutrally instead of feeling like you have to defend yourself or make it
Yeah.
ugly in any way.
Yeah.
Just be like, what question could I ask here that would clarify what I thought?
Right.
And also just with the attitude of like curiosity, like what happened here? What was the breakdown? Because obviously I was trying to do my best.
Right.
Like
Right.
I was trying to produce what you thought I was going to produce,
Yeah.
but somewhere there was a breakdown. So the curiosity is a very big thing that I teach my clients. So it's like the awareness and then the emotion after the awareness, and then consciously choosing what that's going to be.
Right. Yeah.
And then doing it through an experience like that. So it's like great that that experience happened for her, because now she
Right.
she has that
Now,
wisdom.
moving forward, she will know better. She will stop herself from doing that. Yeah. That's
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So, and how do you help clients who undervalue themselves in subtle ways during
So
during
yeah.
the actual negotiation process, So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that I hear that all the time, powerful executive women and men, more so women, but, how do you help, again, your post resonated with me and everybody else. I mean, you can see in the comments, people are like, oh my God, I'm this professional person, but yet I don't value myself enough, let's say at home or whatever. So people who are undervaluing themselves in certain ways, how do you help them during the negotiation process?
Yeah, so I have a few different ways. One of the ways is that I help them kind of take stock, like really good inventory of what they have actually done.
Oh, great.
And then we put like a monetary number on it. And it doesn't have to be an exact number, it can be a guess or an estimate. But a lot of the times it's a lot more than they thought it was, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they could take the hours that they save somebody, and then it turns out that lots of other people are using the same process that they put into place. So those are a lot of hours saved, and there's just not things that they think about. They're just like, oh yeah, I just did my job and I just did this little tweak.
Yeah.
But really, their efficiency in their thoughts has created a huge time saving across the board kind of thing. And so it's little things like that that we identify, and then they have this aha moment where they're like, whoa, I've been underpaid.
Right.
Like, wow, I've been underpaid for so long. And like when they have that moment, then I'm like, okay, they got it. Like they understand, they've had this breakthrough. And that has led to so many people just coming back like so many of my clients just coming back and saying, I got this raise, I got this 15K extra like bonus, and I got the, and it's not because they even had to
Amen.
say it out loud in the interview, because I interview them and I'm like, okay, so what was the difference? It's like just feeling it in their bones and understanding and just showing up as the person who's contributed that amount of value just lands differently energetically, and they talk about it differently too.
So with this, I know you've got your exposure value challenge, which I love that name. Is this kind of part of that? I know it's built from.
Yeah, so that's like the free, the free taste kind of thing. It's like all the stories and like a lot of like some of the stuff I'm sharing here, but like the stories of like how you can like how I have done it before, how I've exposed my value and like my aha moments, and then some from my clients, and then some from growing up, and just like I said in the post, like an experiment in self-advocacy, seeing where I fell short, seeing where I succeeded, and just really neutrally being like, hey, that was really interesting, this was really interesting, and just kind of having fun sharing that with people. And so that's where that is. It's essentially like a PDF of all those stories all put together.
That's
so
cool.
People can kind of see themselves in that, and hopefully take away some breakthroughs for themselves on how they can advocate for themselves more successfully.
And that's just so important. It's so important. And you say effort won't raise a salary, but framing does. So how do you guide someone from working harder to communicating smarter?
Yeah, good question. So I always, like, one thing that people will, because if I'm coaching a client, a lot of the times they'll say, well, I did this, and they want to tell me what they did. And I just always guide them back to what was the result. Because, like, people can do a lot of things and there's nothing to show for it, right?
Oh my gosh.
And so that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find, like, people are not doing that very often. Like, the tendency is to say, I did this, I answered the phone, or I filed these documents, or I did. And so a big question, I'm like, okay, but so what? Why did that matter? What result?
What did that do for the company?
That? And like a lot of times it can be like really annoying for them, because I'm pulling out, like, they give me another task that they did, or like it's not a result. So getting to those results is the important thing, because like, and as an entrepreneur, it's like you don't get paid unless you get results. And it's like in an employee situation, you get paid even if you don't get results, but you shouldn't really, like, you should be getting results. And like, I don't know, that might be controversial to say, but it's like people hire people because they want them to get a result, not because they want them to just do work.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And that's, absolutely true. So what's a practical exercise you use to shift someone from, I thought I nailed it, to maybe I didn't really nail it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So great question, because I get that all the time. People are like, well, I thought I did great in the interview. They said I did great. Like, they said, we loved you, but we went with this other person.
That's the worst. It is the worst. And then they're like, what? Why? So good. Yeah.
And so I have a lot of different ways that I work on this. And I have actually a freebie. It's called the 68 Reasons Why You Interview but don't get the offers. Why you get interviews but no offers.
Love it. Okay.
Because I put that together from like 11 years of figuring this out with people, right? And it's like there could be so many reasons. And so the number one thing I would say is come up with your top 3 theories as to what you could have done. And like, yes, sometimes it's like there is nothing that you could have done. Like sometimes, I don't know, they decided they were going to hire the CEO's son or something. Yeah. And there's just no way you're going to compete with the CEO's son, right? Or
they've already made an internal choice. So it just doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Sometimes like that's always the case, but I don't think it's really helpful to focus on those situations. It's more helpful to always be like, okay, what was it about this that can strengthen me? What was it about this that I could present better? What is it that I could say better that would speak to what they're looking for a little bit more concretely? And like, and so this, in the 68 Reasons, there's a bunch of different things that you can look at and analyze. And it's a skimmable document where you can actually just look through and be like, this could be it. Like, you don't have to read the whole thing.
Yeah. But it will give you an idea of maybe why, instead of like just not.
There is a reason, right?
There is a reason.
Yeah. And there's always going to be something that you can learn from and you can take from it. And as cliche as that is the helpful way to go about the process, is to take what you can learn and decide that you're going to extract value from that experience no matter what, right? No matter how disappointing it was, no matter how much you thought you did great, and use it to strengthen yourself instead of weaken yourself and stay in bed for a week.
Right. I know. That's the worst. Okay. Walk us through your 6-figure curriculum and how does it rewire the internal systems of people?
Yeah. So great segue question. So the first portion of that is some pre-work, and it's in getting into congruence. So there's a concept I teach about congruence, and that is making sure that what you're saying and the messages that you're communicating are really in line with your own values. Because I find a lot of people get thrown off with some questions, like big ones people get thrown off about are like, oh, tell me about this resume work gap you have. Why didn't you work for this time? Or why did you get laid off or something? And so when people aren't prepared to answer those questions in a way that they feel really good about and that's an honest answer that's congruent with them, they end up kind of botching the interview and starting it out in a way that doesn't feel honest or authentic. Right. So congruency is the first thing I ask people to kind of check in with themselves. And then in my program, we kind of clear up those things where they're like, well, I don't really want to tell them this is what happened because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get the job. And so my job is to translate that into, okay, let's take what really happened and let's take the truth and let's translate it into an answer that you feel really great about telling and is also very true and honest.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. Because I'm like, one client was like, I don't think congruency will work with what I want to say. And she's like, I don't think honesty is going to work here. And I was just like, well, there's always a way to get it to a point where you can speak your truth in a way you feel proud of and also not be lying to them. Because that's what people end up answering in ways that they're like, I don't really want to tell them, but I have to tell them. And then they end up over explaining. And then
way too much talking. It makes it way worse. Yeah. All right. So can you share like an aha moment from a client who was transformed through your 6-figure curriculum?
Yeah. Let me think. There's a lot.
Or, I was going to say, or any memorable feedback from clients who've maybe doubled their salary or they've gotten like a $20,000 bonus or, any.
Okay. Let me tell a story. Actually, this is great because this will be, it kind of ties into the post as far as not valuing yourself, not seeing your value, right? That's another thing I really feel strongly about is mirroring the value back to someone. So I had this client and she was in marketing. She's amazing. And she worked for a company that was toxic and she had a toxic boss for a really long time. So, and this is kind of like in my relationship, I feel like when you're constantly put down or told that you're not doing well enough or constantly you're working really hard and maybe you're producing amazing results, but you keep being told, oh, you missed the spot. Oh, but you didn't do that. Or you got 98% and they're like, well, where's the other 2%? Right? Like when you're in a situation like that, your brain already wants to forget and delete your value, but it just completely obliterates any evidence of it.
And why do we, sorry, this is a side thing, but why do we always hang on to the negative?
Yeah.
The negative feedback. Yeah. You have 98% positive feedback, but somebody says one negative thing and that's all you can obsess on. Oh my gosh.
It's like we're fighting against everything to bring ourselves back and connect to our own value. And that's it's basically true, right? So, because our brain wants to do it naturally, and then other people are doing it to us if we're in an environment like that. And so we have to work extra hard to bring it back up and connect back to it, right?
Yeah.
So this is what was happening with my client. She had done some amazing work and she worked for Mary Kay and she had created this advertising campaign that took a product that wasn't selling to selling out. The way that she had marketed it, the way that she had rearranged it with some other products. And so anyways, she did this. And anyway, so she told me about this and I was like, oh my goodness. And how much did that make the company? And how much would that continue to make them? And anyways, the numbers grew quickly when I started asking the right questions. And she had that aha moment. And she was like, oh my goodness. She's like, I didn't even see this because I was so focused on my boss telling me that I had to work harder for the next thing, and that if I did that, I was going to have to replicate it here, and that like everything her
She
boss
was
was
already
demanding of
worrying about future successes. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was just completely blinded to that thing that she had done. And so when we kind of brought attention back to it, really dug into it, and were able to like shine a flashlight back onto it, and she was able to kind of remove her boss's voice and
Yeah.
that kind of treatment. And it's kind of like you have to unwire yourself. You have to unlearn all that stuff that your boss had said, or those feelings. You have to detach from them, and then just isolate the value that she had
Yeah.
actually created. And we saw it very clearly laid out with numbers. We did the process that I do. She was able to then go from getting offers that were lowballing her, and she was getting really frustrated about that, and she was getting kind of angry and resentful about like, why aren't they just paying me what I'm worth, and
Right.
she was able to then go out after that and get an additional 15K. Plus, they changed the salary, or they changed the position title for her. They were like, well, we really want her, so we're going to actually adjust the title so that we can pay her the additional that she's asking for.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yay.
yeah.
I love those happy stories, you know. I think especially in like today's economy, today's job market, people just need to hear more of those happy stories because they are still happening. I mean, we hear them all the time with our clients, but I think, you know, the whole general population, they just don't
Yeah, and
realize it. Companies are still
another
hiring.
good
And,
point
huh?
you raise, because it's like when you're not around that, when you're around the doomy gloomy stories,
Just the negativity, the doom scrolling,
yeah,
oh my
you just
goodness, I
start to
know.
believe that's what's ahead for you, if
For
that's where you're
you.
around. But
Yeah.
if you're around in a room where people are winning and learning all the time, and you're feeling that energy and momentum, you're gonna just assume that you're gonna win too.
Yes, exactly. What do they say? Surround yourself with the five people that you want to be most like, or something like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Okay. So let me just look here. We might need to pause here, Summer. I'm just looking for my questions. I've got a couple like, I mean, this is what's the next big shift in how professionals build their careers post-pandemic. Well, okay. Well, we're way past the pandemic. What about, here's one, and you don't even have to answer, but we can just go through it. With the rise of AI and remote work, how are you adapting your coaching model, and how should your clients adapt?
Oh yeah, I'd love to answer that. So I think the biggest tip that I learned is use AI as your assistant and not expecting it to do work for you. So I think we should use it because why not? It's like a
Right.
tool that's going to help us, and
And it's
it's going
not
to help
going
you.
away. Yeah.
But like I think the mistake that happens is people outsource things to it, and they want AI to just do the work, and then they just want to be done. And it's like, no, you still have to do like it can help you organize ideas, and it can help you
Right.
give
Yeah.
you like a new word for something, or but it's not going to do the work for you. It's still going to be just your assistant.
Right.
It can't think
Right.
for itself really. It can just follow instructions.
Right.
It's
It
only as
follows
good as the
and
instructions that you give it.
yeah, and I love it for ideas for content because, you know how it is, writing posts and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, So I do like it for that. But yeah, not for
Yeah.
everything, but to outline, I mean, for people using it, it's not to replace what you need your brain for, but
Yeah,
to give you
exactly. And I
ideas.
think that it does help you save time. So I'm like, why wouldn't you use it? It's
I
kind of like
know.
when people say they don't like social media, and I'm like, well, yeah, I get that you don't like it, but why wouldn't you still use it to amplify your voice or to get yourself seen or heard or connect with somebody? Like, it's still a useful tool that why wouldn't you use? You're kind of at a disadvantage if you don't use it. But yeah, I get that you don't have to like it. But
Yeah.
I did a masterclass inside my program to help my clients use it for their resumes and stuff, and like just play around with it, just see like
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
can get, what it can help you save time with. Because yeah, if you're spending hours tweaking your resume, definitely there's no reason for that with AI anymore. Like,
Right. Or come see a certified professional resume writer. Okay. So, you've posted, thousands of times. How do you balance vulnerability and authority on social media?
Great question. Great question. So it's like for me, it's not about like I'm just posting my hot mess story and it's like that like all this
Right.
happened to me and like it's not the vibe of like I want people to feel sorry for me. It's more the vibe of like I went through this and I
Yes.
want to share it and then I'm on the other side of it and I want to share these lessons with you because I think they're helpful. They were helpful to me.
But that's how your posts are. They're very like you drop a little nugget about what happened, but then you kind of go into, and this is how I overcame it, and this is how you can too, which I love, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point, right? Like the whole point of going through a hardship or something that was tough and challenging is then to help other people see how they can get through it too, is for it to
Yeah.
be either inspirational or motivational or for them to see, oh, like that happened to me. And if she can do that, or if she, like, if
Yes.
it helps somebody feel a little bit more seen or heard or, but it's not about just like, oh, all this stuff happened to me, like feel bad for me. I think it's the difference between like hot mess and like elegant vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that, I mean, people relate to it and I mean, I'm terrible at sharing. I try to be better at it, but I'm not good at it. I'm a very, private person, but I always connect with like your post, or people that do share. And I always think, Erin, you need to share more. Um,
It really
but
does. It
especially
really
written
does.
down like posts, yeah, I'm not that good. I think I'm maybe better in a podcast or whatever, but people do connect with that and it just resonates with them like your post did. I mean, I know you said you were surprised too with the reaction that it received, but it was such a good post. So just a couple more things. I was thinking about when we were talking about women and men negotiating. So, I mean, in your experience, do women negotiate differently? And I mean, and how do you empower women to negotiate for their worth?
Yeah. So I work mostly with women. So,
Okay,
and there are a
perfect.
few men that come into my containers, and they're wonderful, but I mostly work. I think I just
With women.
attract
Yeah,
women more
yeah,
so.
that's true. I
And
can do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the formula is just it is just bringing awareness to it and
Okay.
having them like digging into the stuff they've done. Cuz even like the like if I don't know the exact numbers, but like a woman who stays at home with her kids, like all
Yeah.
that labor is very valuable, right?
Right.
Like it's worth over 100K, all the stuff that she does every day
Right.
in the
Of
home, right?
course.
Like I've gotten so expert at breaking down value that
Yeah.
we could break that down. Like if someone came to me and they were like, "Well, I've been working in the home with kids for a year and I don't know how to get back in the job market." It's like then they don't have past experience. It's like that is valuable to frame that in a way that's going to be valuable to an
Ooh,
employer.
I love that.
And that like so it's just about framing your specific value in a way
Yeah.
that you understand and you can get on board with, putting monetary numbers to it
Right. Right.
and understanding like in your bones how valuable that really is, and then being able to go and offer it to the right people who are going to
Yeah.
appreciate that and need it and
Yes.
want that from you, and
Wow.
then communicate in a way that lands with the specific person that you're speaking to.
I love that you used stay-at-home moms as an example because, we get so many that struggle with that and they're like, well, I was a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like,
Yeah, and
well,
it's like it's discounted that like they
it
think that
is.
wasn't worth anything, and that is just cultural society programming. Like that is
It
not
is. It
truth,
is.
right?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
the work
I
being a
mean,
stay-at-home mom
yeah,
is
there's so many things I
part
could
of
list. I mean, always felt like a stay-at-home mom, even though I did work from home.
it.
But yeah, and I think about
So you
all
did
the
everything. You worked from
all the
home and
classrooms I headed, all the like the volunteer stuff
yeah.
yeah, and so that's why I love talking to stay-at-home moms because I'm like, you did so much.
Yeah, and that's not talked about
Yeah.
enough. Like it truly is something that you need to be putting numbers on, like just for your own sake, right?
Yes.
So that you
Yes.
can feel that sense of value, monetary value that you've
Yeah.
contributed. Because yeah, like if you're not doing it, somebody has to do it, right? So stay-at-home moms are freeing up the time for their husband to go to work or whatever,
Right.
and they will need like if they weren't doing that, then their husbands would have to stay home. It's like you're
Hmm.
filling a gap, you're filling a
Yep.
need,
Hmm.
and that's
Exactly.
valuable,
Right.
and that's the realization that
Yep.
you need to actually focus on and have, and not allow that narrative to kind of devalue
Right.
the
And you're
work.
saving the company, AKA your family, money by not putting the children in daycare. So there is
Yeah.
that. Because boy, daycare is expensive these days. But anyways, this has been such a thrill to talk to you, and I'm so glad to have you on. And I do want, you know how we finish our sessions, asking our guests, what's one thing? Oh, wait. Before I do this, oh my goodness. How do people get in touch with you? They're like, Erin,
Oh.
I need to talk to Natalie. I need to work with Natalie. How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so it's I'm Natalie Fisher on LinkedIn, and I also have a YouTube channel. I'm not sure what links you'll be putting below, but I can put the links to the 68 reasons you're
Sure.
landing interviews but no offers,
Okay.
and then the link to my Expose Your Value stories collection.
Sure,
Those would be
sure.
two great things for people to start out with if they resonated with what we shared today.
Yes. And I know, I am sure I will be getting, emails from people. So that's why I wanted to double check. And then same with, your 6-figure curriculum. That's all available if they go to your LinkedIn
Yeah, so
profile,
what I
Natalie
do for
Fisher.
that is I
Okay.
do a 3-day series to kind of give it's kind of like a try before you buy, before you sign up, so you get like a idea of the concepts of how it's going to work, of how you would walk through the process, and then
Love it.
if it feels like a right fit, then you would proceed from there. So, but if you get one of the freebies, then you'll be on the list to receive information about the next training.
Okay, cool. So, well, that sounds good, because I was going to say, I can't let you go without, learning how
Thank
to get
you.
in touch with you. Yeah.
Thanks. I really
So
appreciate it.
tell us something that people don't know about you. Something, it could be a
Oh,
passion or a hobby. We're to that dreaded question. I know some people are
no,
like,
I love it. I love it.
oh,
So
okay.
I like to sing karaoke.
Oh,
And I almost, well, I didn't, but people kept saying I should go to Canadian Idol because I was a really good singer. And I haven't
wow.
practiced in a long time, but that's my thing. I like to sing karaoke. So if people are like, let's go out, or if they're going to karaoke, I'm like, I'm there. And I'm like the first one to sign up.
Oh my God, that's all right. Good for you. I mean, yeah, I've sung karaoke, and I as long as I have backup music and maybe a drink or two, I can do
It's
it. But
fun. It's no pressure, but yeah. It's
yeah.
the thing that I decided. I'm like, I'm not going to be a professional singer, but I'm totally going to embrace the fun
Right.
side of this.
Or you're like the bathroom singer, in the shower, in your, voice. Yeah,
Totally. It makes me happy. In the car, a lot.
in the car. Same. Oh my gosh, in the car, I'm the best singer in the world. But
Yeah.
just my audience of one. Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on. It was just a pleasure talking with you. And I know that our listeners are definitely going to get so much value out of this. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for listening to the Office Latte Podcast. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Executive Resumes, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Office Latte Podcast. If you have any career questions or conversations you want us to talk about, send them to officelattepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer them in an upcoming show. Have a great week and stay caffeinated.